Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Dubs. I'm your host, Bill T. Well, as I'm recording this right now, I'm sitting on a boat ferry crossing the ocean and headed to Holland for the Air Mighty super show that they got over here. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Up here with Andy Fitch, Jim Dix, Lee, and a lot of those guys over here. So we're doing a little caravan. So I know I'd be jealous too. And listen, man, just got to go out and live life. So here I am on the other side of the planet, doing a little drive-by, heading to a car show, so you guys will get a full report and a video coming out from this. So I'm excited for that. But guess what? There's only 3 weeks left, and if you waited this long to book your room, you're probably in trouble. I know there's a few hundred room nights booked, and it's going to be a rager of an event, October 6th and 7th at Let's Talk Dubs One Crazy Weekend. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook so you guys can share all the events. It's going to be a good time starting Friday night with a strip cruise and a meet and greet at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. Kicks off Saturday morning with a car show. So there's going to be a car show, and I'm pretty excited about the car show coming up. I'll be doing a roundtable with George this next week coming up, and we're going to be discussing the setup that I got with the new car show, the judging techniques and all that kind of stuff. So it's really going to be, I think, an interactive opportunity for a lot of people, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's Talk Dubs One Crazy Weekend is coming up in 3 weeks. So you got 3 weeks to get your stuff right and bring it down to Vegas and cruise the strip with 100 other of your closest VW friends and have a rager of a weekend here in Las Vegas. And we leave you Sunday to do whatever you will. So, but it kicks off Friday night with a strip cruise at 8 p.m. The strip cruise at 8 p.m. So people have been asking me questions because on the website, the first year we had it 2 dates at 6 and 9, and then we changed it to just a single cruise at 8 o'clock. So it's going to be one big cruise at 8 o'clock, and then Saturday morning kicks off the car show from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. After the car show, cars will stay in the location. Some of the people roll out. At 5:30, the world-famous poker run is taking place. So I'm excited for that. You guys are going to have fun, and you'll have your chance to win your portion of the $2,000 in cash money up for grabs that gets paid out, bang, on the spot. So who else pays you cash money after you got to race around Vegas? Drive around Vegas and enjoy your night with all your VW friends, just mobbing through the streets of Vegas collecting poker cards. So I'm excited. It's going to be a super hype weekend. So if you're not there, you better figure out how to get there. I don't care if you guys got one car between the 6 of you. You guys better mob up in that thing and enjoy your weekend. We got people coming up from California. I got people coming up from Denver. I got people coming out from Canada, people from the East Coast. There are people from matter of fact, there might be people from England that are going to be there. So it's going to be one rager of a weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys should be as well. And don't forget, always support our sponsors, Ross Wolf, High Performance Aftermarket. Let me give you that again. I'm on a cruise ship, guy. Well, not a cruise ship, a ferry. Let's be real. I'm on a ferry, okay? So I get a do-over. Don't forget to support our sponsors. That's Ross Wolf, High Performance Aftermarket Quality Parts made for VW people by VW people. So make sure you guys check them out today at rosswolf.com. Probably pick yourself up a self-locking dipstick. You got a little bit of pressure bleeding out that little crankcase pressure coming out that tube. Go ahead and get yourself a locking dipstick, or get your shift together. Pick up one of their billet shift couplers, dial in your shifting, get it all straight and ready to go. So go check those guys out at rosswolf.com. And don't forget, also at One Crazy Weekend, VW Trends will be there at the event taking pictures and coverage for the event. So make sure you guys go subscribe today at VWTrendsMagazine.com. That's VWTrendsMagazine.com. So go subscribe today. And other than that, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out there. So on today's podcast, I've got a continuation of some of the interviews from Hawaii. And on this particular show is, so back when, you guys know the red chop top that I have. Well, one of the cars I fell in love with when I first got in the VW scene, I ended up buying this car. And it's my 65 chop top bug that was on the cover of 1989 Spring Edition, How to Customize Your VW. That's up in the top right corner with a chop convertible. On the bottom lower left-hand side, bigger shot on the cover of that page is Allan Yee's Tickled Pink. Well, while I was down there with Tom and those guys, and I want to give shout out to Hot VWs for inviting me down to the Shaka show out there in Hawaii. Got to spend some time with Tom and Shin and those guys out there. And really, the people in Hawaii just really did it right. I mean, that's a great show. If you get a chance, you got to go out and check out that Shaka show. It's every Labor Day weekend, so it'll be for sure something to do. So, guys, make sure you go out there. Also, go book your trip to Maui today. They need some tourism. Those are our people, and go hook it up. So don't worry about heading to Maui. Go. There's plenty of the island still to see, and they really rely on tourism. So go support the guys out in Maui. But yeah, Tom invited me out to the weekend over there at the Shaka show, and I was able to sit down with one of his longtime friends, Allan Yee, and Allan Yee built Tickled Pink. Hold on. Listen to this.
The car decks and gateway will be locked. We will make an announcement as soon as the doors are open. Thank you for your cooperation. Dames en heren, de stenen Hollandica zal over ongeveer een half uur afmeren in Hoek van Holland. Om een vlotte ontscheping.
Yeah, that's the recording for the people that are the drivers of cars that are on the ferry, which we've got a bunch of cars down below. You guys saw on my Instagram, and you'll see on the video that I'll put out. It's pretty cool, man. We've drove these cars from Essex down here to the port, hopped on the port. We crossed the ocean last night. We slept in some cabins on the ship, and then cruised across the ocean. So it's rad. I'm gonna bring you guys this the coverage from the show. Hopefully, get a bunch of podcasts while I'm here. And as I'm talking to you, we're pulling into the port right now, passing a bunch of ocean planted windmills. So. Anyway, guys, this podcast is Allan Yee, and Allan Yee built that car, and there's a lot of cool history with this particular car. It was on that cover, one of the first Hawaiian look cars, and I stand corrected if someone wants to correct me, but if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the first Hawaiian look cars that I remember that specifically had that look of kind of over the top, iridescent paint, center lines, big motor, all that stuff. And it was on the cover in 1989, Hot VWs. Hawaiian gal next to it, and that car's had a crazy story because it was one of the top cars built in Hawaii back in the day, and then somebody broke in his garage, burned the car. Like, it's a whole thing. So great story, great history, and he actually was at the show with two beautiful cars at the Shaka show. He was out there with a beautiful red fastback and an unbelievable VW thing. So this guy's still cranking it out, still knocking out cars out of the park, 35 years later. So it's a great podcast. Check it out. No need to worry. Your boy Bill T's got your back no matter where I'm at along the world. Sorry for the late podcast last week, but hey, a guy's traveling and got to make time to do what I got to do. So we'll get into it this week. Allan Yee with Tickled Pink builder and still one of Hawaii's top builders on Let's Talk Dubs.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen. It's got everything that people who like the bug like. So if you happen to see a good-looking Volkswagen, don't panic.
Okay, everybody. So on today's podcast, I've got coming from we're over here in Waikiki and Honolulu and Oahu. And I'm used to going to Maui all the time, but I'm here at the Shaka Show 2023. And much to my amazement, as I'm walking through the car show, I'm walking through with Tom, and Tom's introduced me to people and introduced me to Allan Yee.
Yes.
And Allan Yee, the name, if it's not familiar, go way back to the archives and think about the how to customize your Volkswagen issue. And it had a car on there. I think maybe one of the first cars that I would say had the Hawaiian style look. I mean, this is what I think, right? Because the first time that I see it, and you own Tickled Pink. You were the owner and builder of Tickled Pink. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, knowing Tom, and Tom's been in a Volkswagen since high school, you've been in a Volkswagen since the early days. Now, today you own a paint and body shop here in Honolulu.
Yes.
And the name of the paint and body shop?
Allan's Auto Body and Paint.
Allan's Auto Body and Paint. Now, you've built SEMA cars. You've built show cars. You've got two beautiful cars here today. You've got a green VW thing, and you've got the red fastback here. Two beautiful cars. Yes. The green VW thing, I understand you built it in just a couple months.
No, just last night we finished it. It took us about 2 months to complete overall.
Really?
Yeah.
And the way we always start the podcast is, what's your VW story and how did you get into Volkswagens?
I got into Volkswagens from out of high school, and I guess I started with a VW Bug, and that was my first Volkswagen I had.
And then what with your Volkswagens? So how old are you when you get your first Volkswagen?
I would say about 25.
So 25 years old. And what makes you pick a Volkswagen instead of a mini truck?
I had a mini truck, and I had a Celica, I had a Plymouth Arrow, I had all kind of cars, but the Bug, it was a Volkswagen season, and it was time for Volkswagens was in.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool look, cool ride, and of course we had to be nice and shiny.
Right.
Lots of chrome.
A lot of chrome. That car's got a lot of chrome on it.
And we had to do neon paint. So we did neon paint, and that was sponsored by Cars Auto Body a long time ago. Where we buy the materials from.
Yeah.
So they sponsored the paint, so we tried something different. So we went with neon paint.
So, and that was one of the first, that's the early days of neon paint on that car.
Yes.
So, that car really is, and one of the things maybe I want to touch on is that's one of the first cars I remember. How many cars you remember from Hawaii were featured before that car? There was some cars,
Not a whole lot,
but not a lot. And the style, where does the Hawaiian style come from? The big deeps in the back, the skinnies in the front, the drag race look like, and is that from another kind? Like they did it with the trucks, and then you try to make it work on the Bugs. And
Exactly.
Then, like
exactly. When you're making hot rods, you want the back tires. You want it to be beefy.
Right.
It's always good with beefy back tires.
Yeah.
Skinny tires is more for the look.
Right.
For the look, handling, easy turning. Because with big tires, it just didn't cut it.
Yeah.
So the center lines was back in the days. That was the thing to run.
Yeah.
Center lines.
Because they was dealing.
And with the center lines, they always had the bubble fronts is the ones that they run, and then the big deeps in the back, like a 7s or 8s, maybe
7.5, 8 in the back.
7.5, 8s in the back. Now, when you built that car, who featured it and how did that come about?
Hot VWs magazine did an article on it, and
Was R.K. Smith the one who photographed it?
I'm not sure. It's been so long ago. It's been, I would say, 35 years already.
It's more than that. It's like 40 years, almost 40 years. Yeah.
So I'm just feeling a little bit old right now.
Well, but what's interesting is at this time when you built Tickled Pink, are you already in the VW scene already then?
Yes.
And is there other cars at this time that are painted real similar to the way yours is painted, or
No, I didn't. I never saw another neon Bug yet, fluorescent pink Bug yet. My brother had Tickled Pink 3, which he built. It was a '68, and we built a chopped convertible on it. And that one was featured on Hot VW Trends magazine. So we had that Bug going, and then I came up with Tickled Pink 3 because Tickled Pink 2, somebody burnt that car in a garage.
Somebody burnt the car?
Yeah, in a garage, it caught on a fire. So
really,
once the car burnt, I entered into Maui's Easter Steel Car Show, and I had I think it was 3 months to get it ready. I did it in 2 months from when it was burnt to restore it and have it in Maui for the Easter Steel show.
Really?
So I finished it and I took People's Choice for that show, and they paid my round trip to come back to Hawaii to enter the Easter Seal show in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a story behind that one.
No, that's awesome. I mean, to be able to have such a setback like that. Now, what's the story behind the guys burning the car up? What, are they trying to steal it or what?
No. We came out one morning from the house. The car was just still smoking, but it didn't burn to the ground. The whole roof and the running boards was upholstered, so the running boards was whatever chemical they used, it was still on fire. It was still smoking.
Yeah.
I called the fire truck. They came. They washed it all down. We never caught who did it, whatnot. But the year before that, we won 3 or 4 major shows in Hawaii that we did have local shows. I don't know if it was somebody jealous. I never owed anybody no money, so it can't be that.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, whatever happened for that reason, I'm not gonna let that stop me.
Yeah.
And I redid it and I named it Tickle Pink 3.
Really?
Then I went to the Easter Seal show. See, I got banned from the Easter Seal show in Hawaii, in Honolulu, Hawaii. There's this guy named Herman Silva that runs the Easter Seal show in Hawaii.
Yeah.
He specifically said no burning out at the show.
Yeah.
But in Hawaii, when we leave the car show,
You have to.
you have so much people watching, so much people waiting for you to burn out, and I just had to.
Yeah.
And I did it, and he told me, you cannot come back to the show ever again. So I was the only one that he explained that I outsmarted him, that I went to Outer Island to win a show in the Eastern Seals of Maui, and he had to let me back because I was the winner of that show. So he had to let me back in the Hawaii show. So that was a cool story now that I tell, and I know they say don't burn the rubber, but it's just the fun in what local people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's. I mean, it's the same everywhere you go. You know, the first time that I had gone to, the first time I went to the DKP meet in Southern California, I had debuted my bus over there, and when I debuted my bus, as I was coming out, I knew I wanted to be one of the first ones to leave because, like, the 10th guy gets stopped by the cops, right?
Okay.
So, as soon as I come out, and I had a big Type 4 in my bus, so as soon as I come out, I just lay on it, just burn rubber the whole way out of there, and just hear everybody cheering. And for me, that's like the best thing, you know. It's like put an exclamation point on your leaving, right?
That was exactly, and everybody was like, "Hey, that's awesome! That's awesome!" But you know what? I would never change anything the way everything went down.
Yeah.
And it was a story that me and Herman have that I still see him, and you know, we just talk about. He always brings it up. You're the only one outsmarted me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have, you've got 2 cars here at the show today.
Yes.
You've got a night. What year is the Fastback? Is it
It's a '67 Fastback.
1967 Fast? Beautiful car.
Thank
Red on red ostrich interior, detailed Fuchs. I mean, the paint's beautiful on this car. Tell me how the build is on that car.
Well, the build is when we first started the car. The owner of the car is Leo Bringus Jr. So he came see me. He said, you know, I bought this back car from California. I want to just restore it, and I want to get it ready for the Shaka show.
Yeah.
And of course, he only gives me like 6 months in advance to do it.
That was 6 months ago.
No, last year, 6 months.
For last year's show.
Yeah, 2022, and we took it apart, frame off, and we changed the floor pans, and we redid the whole chassis, body separate, everything is a la carte.
Wow.
So on a Type 3, the quarter panels are like front fenders, they come off.
Right.
So everything is painted inside and out, just like the outside of the car.
Really?
So inside the front fender and the back quarter panels, they're painted both sides, inside and out. The doors are painted inside and out. So everything that we could take off that car and paint, we painted everything, because you know the rust in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You have to paint everything with epoxy and put some urethane on it
Yeah.
to make it last.
Yeah, for sure.
And going through the whole build, I just told Leo, if you're gonna do something, do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Because if not, we'll be doing this car every other year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it's got one of those paint jobs. Looks like it's still wet.
Yeah. But see, one thing good about Leo, he'll let me build it the way I want to build it and what I think he would like. So I look at him and I look at my, the job, how I want to make it. I want to modernize it a little bit, but not too much from factory. So that's what we did on the Fastback. We just redid everything clean, nice, and I wanted it red on red. Especially he built this car for his wife. That's why we redid that car, and it was entered last year under his wife. And this year he wanted to do something different. That's why we started with the 73 Volkswagen thing.
Oh, the thing belongs to him also?
That's his one, and the other one is his wife's car. But there's a story behind the Volkswagen thing.
Yeah.
He had 2 of them about 6 years ago. He had a house fire.
Oh, no.
He lost a 67 Volkswagen, an orange one. He lost a red 72 Volkswagen thing, and he lost a 74 Volkswagen thing, and it was the same lime green. And he lost a Volkswagen bus, I think it was a transporter, all in a house fire. So now that he bought this one from the mainland and we redid it, and he wanted to rejuvenate and rebring it and make it alive. That was his. He drives his car every day.
Yeah.
This is his everyday cars.
The thing in the fastback, he drives them.
Well, he's going to,
Yeah.
but he used to. And before I did it, he drove it every day.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a regular car. His regular cars are all Volkswagens.
Really?
He has a Volkswagen bus, a red, blue and white one across the street by the beach.
Yep.
And he got these two over here today, but he also have 2 transporters at home, and he has a baby window bug at home also. So he still got a couple cars that he wants to restore, but he only allowed 1 a year to restore.
Yeah, look, you do a phenomenal job. And then the VW thing, you built that one fairly quick too.
2 months ago we started, and we took it all apart, and we start off with the body, and of course when we bought the body and we took the body off of the chassis, and the first time we noticed, we put them on the lift, and the first thing we take measurements, the body's been smashed 2-3 times before, and people fix them, but they don't fix it with off the chassis.
Right.
So of course now we're straightening the body without the frame, so we had to straighten out the front and the back on the driver's side before we could get everything lined up and redone. And of course, went through every panel, lots of body work, lots of straightening, because whoever did it before just put bundle on bundle. So now we have it, we just take it down to bare metal, and we epoxy, and we start off brand new again.
And when you do that out here in Hawaii, you have to it's best just to blast the car. You mechanically blast it?
We do both.
Like a chemical strip or a
No, sandblast.
Sandblast.
We use the water blast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The dustless blasting.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I have. So we sandblast on the main parts, but like when you do in a car from hoods, trunks, or roof where the panels are thin, we do that by hand. The sandblaster is a little bit too aggressive for it, where it's gonna warp it. So
Yeah.
we do everything by hand, and we just start off with one panel at a time, and we get it done.
No, listen. Those cars are beautiful, and they look like they've got hours and hours of time in it. So somebody's looking to get a car built here in Honolulu. You're the guy. You're the shop to do, because you do everything. You do.
Right.
I mean, you don't do just do Volkswagens. You do all kind of. You showed me like a cab over that you built that had a matching motorcycle in the back and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
1948 cab over.
Yeah, you built that for the SEMA show.
Yes,
And who would you build that for?
that was for me.
That was your personal.
Yeah, my personal car. I
Oh,
built
wow.
that, and my dream was to take something to the SEMA.
Yeah.
And when I built it, I didn't have intentions to do that. It was just something that I built it, and then after that, I looked at it and I said, I think this could go into the SEMA.
Yeah.
And when I found a sponsor to sponsor me into SEMA, I took the whole truck apart again and redid it again.
Really?
Again, from because I know, what is it gonna show, what it's gonna look like, where
Right.
it's gonna go. I redid everything.
That's incredible.
Then we took it to the SEMA twice.
Well, you didn't do just the car. You didn't do just the truck. Like, it's a cab over, like a fire truck. Is that what it was?
Yes, a
Cab over-
flatbed.
a cab over flatbed, and then you did a matching motorcycle too,
Matching
right?
motorcycle. Yeah, we turned that big dog into is a big dog K9.
Yeah.
I bought that bike, and when I started to do the project, the bike only had 400 miles on it.
Really?
Yeah, so we redid everything on the bike. We did suspension, we did new seats, new fork. We changed the look of the big dog.
And you had that. You said you had it on Hot August nights too.
Yes, we took it to Hot August Nights Reno, and I couldn't believe it. But we was in the same room with Kin Diggett.
Yeah.
We was in a room with these other car builders over there. I mean, there's so much of them in the mainland, But
Oh,
it was
yeah.
awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. You got Chip Foose, you got Troy Trepanier, you got Steve Strope, you got all those guys that build a lot of those top level cars.
Oh
man.
yeah.
And it's nice to have your. To have your stuff on par with those guys, and definitely there's some nice stuff that you're building out here.
Yeah.
And now with your shop, what's your turnaround time? I mean, I know you got a couple exceptions over here with 6 months and 2 months, but is that typical for a car in your shop, depending on the
Yes.
customer?
When I take a job, my motto is one car at a time.
Oh, really?
I don't start on another car because your mind gets all over ordering parts, what's been ordered, what's never ordered, what has to send out to Chrome. It's just too much. So if you just concentrate on one at a time, you'll get it done.
Yeah. No, that's and so you're how many guys you got in your shop?
Just me, and I have a friend. His name is Shane Rodriguez.
Just the two of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's pretty impressive to be able to do work like that and turn it out so quickly. So you're all business all the time. You're busy, no monkey business over
No,
there.
and I work a regular job 7 days a week. I work a regular job, and this is just all on the side for me.
So you do this for fun, just for fun, out of
Yes.
the passion.
Yes.
Wow. That's incredible. Man, I tell you, you really got, so if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get, you got a website they go to, you're on Facebook?
I don't have a website. I don't advertise, but I have Facebook where it's Allans Auto Body and Paint.
Mm-hmm.
They can contact me, and depends if I'm busy or not. But what I said, if you can wait, I can put you in line.
Well,
But if you don't wait, it's up to you.
well, you know, Jody was here earlier, and he said he had nothing but compliments. Jody from Maui was over here, nothing but compliments about you, and I didn't even know when we were talking that you were talking about Tickled Pink. So I think that's pretty awesome, because we share that connection, because your car was on the cover of one of the magazines for me that had so much inspiration for me in the VW scene back in the 80s. And man, I appreciate everything you're doing. Going back to the Hawaiian look, right?
Okay.
When you built your bug like that, was all the bugs being built like that at the time with the deeps and the center lines, all that
Yes.
stuff? Where do you remember that coming from? Like,
Yes.
who's the first time you see that?
When you start to see one or two persons do it, it's like a trend. Everything goes, and it's more like, what do you see? We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet.
Right.
We had whatever you buy in a magazine.
So
So
what you see at the park,
yeah,
right?
so Hot VW magazine and VW Trends, whatever ads they had, that's where you would go get your parts from. And part of the trend is from California, and it kind of took off in Hawaii. Has its own taste in how they want to do their Volkswagens and whatnot. You know, you had the cool look, but you also had to have the motor to back it up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too out here. The style is kind of 2332, 48 IDAs, and then bigs in the back, skinnies in the front, right?
Yes. And before days, you know, we didn't have airbags. You know,
Right.
we didn't. It didn't just come out with selector jump in the front. It came out with pulling pins.
Right, pulling the
So,
leaf springs,
so,
yeah.
so the front we pull the pins out, and the springs we locate them. So there's a lot to do with the old school style.
Oh, for sure.
But
for
now,
sure.
you know, they make all air ride airbags. It's totally different.
Yeah.
They make it easier, but it's more money.
Yeah, it's more money. It's more money. You could buy some things ready to go. But and now you also, so Tickled Pink. Whatever happened with Tickled Pink, the car? Because Tickled Pink, is that the one that you sold to somebody that ended up in Maui? And
Yes. So what happened is years ago, after Tickled Pink had burned, and I redone it for that car show Easter Seals in Maui, I won the People's Choice for that car show. Turned around, I traded that car
Yeah.
for a 1923 T-Bucket Roadster.
Really?
Yeah, so it was something new for me. I wanted to try, and I went to the V8 side, I went to the Chevy side.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, it's like I got rid of the car, and I missed it for a while. But after growing up and working on every other type of cars, you learn how to, you know, endure what you had before, and you cherish what you had. It's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have sold it.
Right.
But now it's kind of like I'm a bit older now, and I had the chance to buy it back. So when I see it on Craigslist, on Maui website, Craigslist, I said, this is my car. And I knew just by looking at pieces of the upholstery.
But it wasn't the same car. It was,
It's the same car.
but it run down. But I mean,
A
like,
different color.
oh, they redid the car.
Yeah, it was like a magenta color,
Yeah.
but the interior was the same. And the look of the car is
Because
center
the
lines.
interior on that was like a crazy velour, right?
Yeah, velour
Swivel
diamond top.
seats.
Even
Did
the
you have
floor.
swivel seats in it?
No, it wasn't swivel seats.
But you had the floor velour panels for
Yes.
the floor, like
Diamond top.
almost like lowrider style kind
Yes,
of.
yes.
Yeah.
And it had, back in the days, when TVs first came out, I mounted a little TV under the dashboard, and
I
I pushed it
remember.
around it. So it was different from what everybody would see. And if you wanted to look different, you had to be different. So that's what it was.
For sure. No, that's I mean that it's a car that everybody remembers. And so when you bought it back, was it a good deal when you bought it back? Was it cheap?
It wasn't cheap.
So there was already, it was like a finished car, but finished to somebody else's style.
Yeah, yes. But because I knew that car, the upholstery, I knew the body on it, and I knew everything that I put in it and what the guys changed it to. I knew I was getting a good deal because I was buying my old car back.
So what's the plans with Tickled Pink now?
I'm just picking the right time to do it. And when I do it, I'm going to strip it down and rejuvenate it and make something that comes out where people are going to notice it.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt that you have the skill set to do that, man. And I appreciate you coming on the podcast and taking some time to chat with us for a few minutes. And I'm really glad the way this worked out, man, because I'm blown away that you're the guy that built that car, because that car was such an iconic car back in the day. Even being on this little island, it had an impact to all the Hawaiians in the States.
Right.
They all saw it. They knew what was going down to Hawaii. And that car, I think from what I can remember, that car kind of put Hawaiian builds on the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think...
Yeah, we had those big Volkswagen Cruises, and everybody had to have the best and the nicest car, the loudest car. It was fun back in the days, but now I see it coming back.
Yeah, no, you do beautiful work out here, and I'm looking forward. When you get ready to debut that car, I want you to call me up. We're going to do another podcast to talk about
Guarantee.
All
Guarantee.
right?
Aloha.
Aloha, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, if you like that podcast, and I'm sure you did, make sure you subscribe. Share this podcast with friends, especially all your Hawaiian buddies that might not be listening to the podcast. Go share this podcast, the last two podcasts, with celebration of our people in Hawaii that are doing big things for us over there in the VW scene. And subscribe today to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm looking forward to next weekend bringing you guys some podcasts. I think George and I are going to do a roundtable next weekend, but if I get a couple extra ones over here, I might throw out a bonus podcast from the Air Mighty show over here in the Netherlands. I'm excited to bring all this stuff to you guys. It's a great time, and I'll have a full report of this Rage River weekend. And until next week, guys, later.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.